We're not taught in this brief earth life to communicate freely with people now living in the afterlife. That is a primitive state of mind we're beginning to grow out of. We should be communicating easily and naturally with our loved ones in the afterlife. They want to communicate as much as we do. In this video, I explain what we must do to be able to communicate with our loved ones now living in the afterlife. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. I'm the author of 8 books with the evidence you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. To communicate with your loved ones now living in the afterlife, you must learn to communicate in a new language. We're not used to having someone communicate within our minds. We've been thinking, remembering, daydreaming, and talking to ourselves since we were children. That's like a language, and it's very familiar to us. Now, having someone else come in and start thinking and talking in that space in our minds is really different. It's like learning a new language. To be able to communicate and connect freely, we have to learn a new language. That takes time, and it takes patience. You can't learn a new language by flying into the country, stepping off a plane, and spending a half hour with native speakers. You'll just be bewildered by what you hear. In the same way, you mustn't expect that you'll learn this new language of mind-to-mind communication in one session. Give it time. You're about to step off the plane into a new realm, and there you'll receive thinking, remembering, and talking that is coming from outside of you. That's going to feel like what you're accustomed to getting as your thinking, your remembering, and your talking. But it's not coming from you. To learn mind-to-mind communication, you have to learn how to allow that new communication to come to you. And you have to learn to accept it. Be patient. You'll learn how to communicate. Your loved ones on the other side will connect with you and communicate in these unfoldments. You may be calling them my imagination, but there's no my in them at all. It's all them. This is very important. Those we love on the other side are in charge of the experiences. They decide what to give us, and they develop what comes. If we judge, try to change, dismiss it as unreal, or otherwise try to manipulate what comes, we're imposing our intentional mind on the free unfoldment coming from outside of us. That will disrupt their effort to create the images, thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and messages in our minds. They then have to start over. It's really important that we have the confidence that they're in charge, and whatever comes to us is going to turn out to be what we need, even if to us it seems trivial or strange at the time. Studies of people's reactions to calming pictures and disturbing pictures show that people's bodies start to react with calm to calming images or with stress to disturbing images about to be shown as early as 7 seconds before the picture is shown, even though the person isn't aware of it. Their mind receives the messages at a subliminal level, and the body reacts correctly. When the person is asked to predict what the picture is that's coming up, whether it's calm or disturbing, their guesses are no more accurate than would be expected by chance. And the measurement of their body reactions shows that their bodies are no longer reacting correctly to the picture that will come up. Their minds lost the message. In other words, when they start to use their intentional mind to guess what type of picture is coming, they shut down the message that normally would be coming to telling their mind subliminally what the picture will be, so that the body reacts correctly. The same thing happens when we start to try to control the experience of connecting with a loved one in spirit. We shut down the connection when we take control. When we receive a message from someone on the earth plane, that person makes sounds that are words vibrating in the air. The sound waves travel through the air, enter your ear, and eventually get to your brain. Your brain interprets the vibrations as words, and the mind makes a message from the words. The words drop off, and the message remains. When we get vibrations from someone speaking on the earth plane, males generally have lower voices than females. Aunt Rose sounds different from Dad, and Mom sounds different from Aunt Rose, even though she's Aunt Rose's sister. The vibrations are different because each person has different vocal cords, mouth shape, nasal cavities, and the rest of what makes a voice sound unique. However, when we get the communications from our loved ones, guides, higher selves, and the source, they come mind to mind. So there are no sounds, and there are usually no words, although sometimes words do come to mind. We just receive the messages. These messages have the qualities of memories or daydreaming, not the experiences of seeing, hearing, and feeling we're accustomed to when we communicate with someone in the physical world. The thoughts come from them to us as our thoughts do. We may then create words from the messages using our inner voice. That is what makes it difficult at first to see the difference between your thinking or imagination and their messages. It's the same inner voice we've had since we were children. It's been inside of us. We hear it when we're thinking, but it is only an inner voice. There is really no voice there. We have to get past the feeling that their messages should come in voices they used on the earth plane. They usually don't. They usually come without words at all. They come in fully formed messages in the mind. Our training in how to have afterlife communications is free online at the link in the description below. The procedure is called Self-Guided Afterlife Connections. It's a very normal part of the training in this Self-Guided Afterlife Connections procedure to go through having to get over the mistaken notion that what's coming into your mind is just imagination. That will happen when you experience having images, thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and messages come to you that you just didn't originate. The more you experience that, the more confident you'll become that the messages are coming from them, and the messages will flow more smoothly. Be patient. Learning mind-to-mind communication is like learning to speak a new language, but you will learn it if you just trust and follow the unfoldment to teach you. Now, having said that, experiencers occasionally report that they hear clear words spoken in their minds, with the sounds of the voice of the person in spirit that they used on the earth plane. That may happen for you also, but that isn't the usual way of communicating that those on the other side use. Along with the mind-to-mind communication, you'll have a sense of presence. You'll just know that the person you want to connect with is there. It's as real as the senses of seeing or hearing. So when you're getting the mind-to-mind communication, you'll get this very real sense of their presence. You may not see anything, you won't hear with your ears, but the knowledge that they're with you is a very reliable validation that you're connected. In the same way, our loved ones, guides, higher selves, and the source bring images and scenes to us. They may seem irrelevant at the time, as though they were just passing fantasies. When you allow free unfoldment, you may be given a variety of images and scenes. They come mind to mind, bypassing the ears, the eyes, the skin, and the brain. The result is the same experience in the mind as if the body had been involved. But since the body limitations aren't there, what comes is fluid, easily changed, and not limited to mundane physical realities. They may seem to jump around or be in fragments. That's because in the mind, our loved ones, guides, higher selves, and the source can take us from scene to scene easily and immediately to get the messages to us. So they take advantage of that unrestricted ability. They often give participants experiences instead of words. Instead of telling the participants something, they guide them into experiencing it. This is an illustration from a participant's journal of what happened when she asked for a message.
I asked Ben if he had any messages for me, and just because I asked, he said, "Come on." We jumped into a golf cart, LOL, and meandered off. The golf course we started on became more like a safari. We got to a very tall and thin mountain, with people on either slope slogging away, getting to the top. Ben was laughing and said, "I'll show you something." He went to a secret door in the bottom of the mountain, and it was an elevator. We both got in it and were quickly at the top. "Sometimes people make it so hard for themselves," he said. The understanding I got from that was that it was referring to our efforts to get to the other side and communicate. My medium friend is always telling me I'm trying too hard, thinking too much.
Your loved ones, guides, higher selves, or the source could have said, well, you're thinking too much, you're trying too hard. But instead, this participant was given the experience that allowed her to discover the truth that she was trying too hard to make the communications happen. She should just take the elevator and let it convey her to where it wants her to go. The teaching often happens in experiences and senses of the messages, not in words. The reason is that participants receive the messages mind to mind, not in vibrations of words. They are in charge of the images and scenes as well as the messages. Allow them to unfold naturally, even if they seem irrelevant. All of the experiences you will have with your loved ones will be positive. They're always filled with love and a concern for you and any other person living on the earth plane. If you ever experience a feeling that is negative, such as a feeling the person on the other side shunned you or told you something disturbing or anything else negative that wasn't from them, that unfoldment has come from fears and negative emotions we all have while we're on the earth plane that have taken over your mind temporarily. Or they could be from sources other than our loved ones, guides, higher selves, and the source. Push them aside and say, that's not from and in your loved one's name. I put it in the trash. Think of putting it in the trash can. Then go back to your meditation and communication. That is very unlikely to happen, though. I just want you to know your communications will always be positive. And if something isn't, then it didn't come from your loved one. Throw it in the trash. Although the approach you will have will always be positive, your loved one may often feel negative emotions about what has happened to him or her. So they may feel sadness, or they may feel miffed, or they may seem angry about something that happened on the earth plane, or about your separation. Your loved one may be very sad at not being in a physical world with you, and may be frustrated that something is happening in your family, or maybe even angry at some injustice. The person has the same personality, loves, fears, intolerances, humor, and all the rest of what makes them an individual that they were when they were living in the earth plane. They are the same person. And so you might see them come to you crying over something or frustrated about something. However, their approach to you will be full of love and concern. They have grown out of much of the pettiness that they may have felt while in a body. The transition off the earth plane is just a life-changing event. It results in changed sentiments, but not because the person is transformed in an instant. It's just that they've experienced something that changes their attitude. You can have uplifting, delightful, and often surprising talks with your loved one in spirit. You just have to be open and allow the dialogue to flow on its own. They're waiting for you to open yourself to their communication. Give them the opportunity to speak to you. You can go through the free online training on how to have an afterlife communication on our website at the link in the description below.